This is the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
The Cowboys are back. The Grinch of the Dallas Mavericks is finally gone, and we can get back to some state of normalcy here in Dallas-Fort Worth sports. Ultimate Dallas Sports Show on your TV. I'm Jonah Javad. He's the producer with the mostest. I wanted to say the host with the most, but nothing really rhymes with producer.
I was going to say, and you are the most hated reporter in Los Angeles.
It's a badge that I will proudly wear. It's okay. I don't have any plans on moving to LA anytime soon. That is unless, of course, WFA trades me to KTLA.
No comment. Yeah. All right, we got a lot to get into. That's just one aspect of this. As Jonah mentioned, we got to get into some Cowboys talk. So let's get right into it with what's on the show.
Here's What's on the Show, sponsored by NFM.
Another week in the NFL, and the landscape looks a little bit different as the Cowboys prepare to face the Raiders on Monday Night Football. We'll break down everything you need to know about their matchup in Vegas. And the Mavs finally ended the Nico Harrison error. We go no fence riding about the discourse surrounding Nico's firing, and that's what's on the show, Jonah. Now, who's on the show?
Oh, we got two lads that are adding to the flavor of the show with the colored shirts. We got Mike Leslie, who's ready to put 50 on black on the casino floor there in Las Vegas, getting ready for tomorrow night's game against the Vegas Raiders. And we got Coach Glenn Stretch Smith up in our newsroom. Fellas, we got Cowboys and Vegas tomorrow, showdown in prime time, and it's got to be a must-win, I would imagine, Coach. Is that right? To have any chance of reaching the postseason.
100%. They got to go win this football game and win about 6 more. So we might as well start tomorrow night against a team that it looks like they can match up against. And guess what? Everybody fired up about the 2 new additions that they traded for on defense. And then the guys coming off the injury situation. The defense may look totally different tomorrow night. It's got something you need to look forward to, Jonah.
Well, Mike is in Vegas, so he might have an update on what the odds are for the Cowboys to make the playoffs. But I am curious, how realistic is it for the Cowboys to come out tomorrow and perhaps cover 3.5? Is this?
We're getting in a bet
program. We can't go too that far down the road. But
bet.
is this going to be a close one or a blowout?
Listen, it's a game they have to win. It's a game they absolutely have to win. If you can't beat Vegas, how can anybody expect you to beat the Eagles or beat the Chiefs or beat the Lions like they frankly need to be able to have a chance at making the playoffs? So it has to be a win. It really should be a win that they can get with a reasonable amount of comfortability, because the Cowboys offense, you have to imagine, after 2 consecutive kind of down games against the Broncos and Cardinals, probably gets back to being closer to their normal self. And this Vegas offense is not good. This is an offense that the Cowboys defense, especially with these new pieces, should be able to curtail at least a little bit and give their offense an opportunity to run this thing up a little bit and get themselves a win that they absolutely have to have.
Yeah, let's chat about those new pieces. For one, Quinnen Williams gets inserted into the middle of the defensive line, coming over from the Jets at the trade deadline. An impact player, instant impact player, and should provide a punch, not just only in rushing the passer, but stopping the run. Just an incredibly good player for the Cowboys to add at that point in the season. And also linebacker Logan Wilson, bit of a veteran coming over from the Bengals. I'm not quite sure how much he can add to the Cowboys defense, but he's a body, which helps considering that they've really needed anybody to show up at linebacker this season. Coach, what are your expectations for Quinnen Williams in his Cowboys debut?
And put him in right now. I mean, get him in the rotation with Osa, get him in the rotation with Kenny Clark. And guess what? We just need him to go in there and eat up some space right now. Because if he can do that, if you can get 2 of those guys to eat up their 3, all of a sudden then it puts your ends in a one-on-one situation. I could see Fowler having a big night. I could see Clowney having a big night. And those are Ezeraku. I mean, all those guys need to have an opportunity to play against a one-on-one situation, and they will with that rotation that they now have.
Coach, I'm curious, with all these new pieces, specifically, like we're talking 6 new starters on defense, and we know this defense has struggled with communication all season. How much communication issues do you envision there being, and how much grace do you give them knowing that you're lining up with 5 guys you have not talked to yet this year, at least for the new trade acquisitions, but also Overshown, also some of these guys coming off IR.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to be magna cum laude to figure it out. Go in there and get on the outside eye of the guard, play 2, 3, or 4 on the back end, and just go play. I mean, I don't think it's that difficult. I mean, I realize that Eberflus has had a difficult time with all of the additions and subtractions that they've had, but guess what? Just go play tomorrow night. That's what I want to see this defense. Just go play.
Mike, what are you most focused on related to the Cowboys defense tomorrow night?
Honestly, I think that Logan Wilson is set up to have Cowboys fans have this eureka moment of, oh my goodness, look at Logan Wilson making plays, and certainly DeMarvion Overshown stepping into the lineup for the first time this year. I think tomorrow night, it's entirely possible that a lot of Cowboys fans are going to say, oh my goodness, look at our linebacking core. They're playing so much better than the guys that were in there all season long, and that it may have more to do with Quinnen Williams eating up blockers, and that these guys are running more freely than the Cowboys linebackers have been the first 9 weeks of this season. So these guys are going to look a lot better than what we have seen from Shamar James over the course of the season, what we have seen from a lot of these guys in the linebacker position over the course of this season. And it's probably somewhat to do with the fact that Logan Wilson and DeMarvion Overshown are better players, and it's also going to do with the fact that they've got a lot more help and they've got less bodies in their way to go make plays.
You know, I'm glad that the no fence riding segment's coming up later, because I'm going to ride the fence here. I have really high hopes for this defense. I'm just not sure if they're going to be at peak caliber tomorrow night, given that they haven't really played all together as a single unit until they face the Raiders in prime time. So it's one of those we'll sees, but certainly they stand to play better than anything we've seen from the Cowboys defense so far to date in 2025, and that's good news. But coming up next, we've got to take a short break. That's what the Cowboys we're going to see from them defensively on the field, but there's obviously going to be a lot going on in their hearts. Their first game since the passing of Marshawn Kneeland. We will get into that when the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show returns.
Today's headlines, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers.
Elsewhere around the NFC East, the Giants again come up short in a hard-fought loss to the Packers, 27-20. New York now 2-9 on the season. And the Commanders fall to the Dolphins in Spain in overtime. Washington now 3-8. Two things. First of all, we got to stop sending our worst NFL product overseas. It happens every year, and it's getting ridiculous. Secondly, the Eagles also defeated the Lions tonight, so the division gets a little bit farther away for the Cowboys at this point.
That Dolphins-Commanders game set football back 4 decades.
We say that about every overseas game at this point.
Take the points. Okay. Tomorrow night is going to be a tough night for, I would imagine, Cowboys fans, Cowboys Nation, Cowboys players, staff, pretty much anyone affiliated with the Cowboys, and really anyone around the NFL who's paid attention over the last 2 weeks. It'll be the Cowboys' first game since the passing of Marshawn Kneeland, a very tragic event, and now players are going to have to step onto a football field and play football, which is a hard juxtaposition. So, Coach, you've been around this game for many, many years. Can you kind of tap into maybe what the mindset would be of an athlete with a heavy heart, and can sometimes playing be good for them to at least maybe get their mind off of it?
100% it can be good for you. That's what you want to do. I mean, you don't want to forget. You want to remember. You want to play with that, and you want to play with the passion. So I think the best thing that could happen right now, the Cowboys coming off of that bye week, and go play a football game and go put it on the line for your brother.
We expect there to be a lot of different tributes from the Cowboys to honor Kneeland's life. Mike, you're going to be out there for the game tomorrow night. What is sort of your level of expectation in terms of what players and staff may do to honor Marshawn?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think one of the things they're planning on doing, and it's unfortunately something that this organization has had to do in the past, they're going to put a Marshawn Kneeland jersey on the bench and have his presence represented in that way. It's going to be an incredibly difficult night. There's no two ways about it. This organization has been through something that frankly few organizations ever have to go through. And unfortunately for the Cowboys, it's the second time now in a 13-year span that something of this genre anyway is happening. Obviously with a different scenario back in 2012 when they played against the Cincinnati Bengals just 48 hours after a teammate passed. But yeah, it's going to be an incredibly difficult night, and as we talked about in Sports Special, it's going to hit guys differently. There are some guys that probably will come out and play with that extra bit of passion and maybe play better and see their games get elevated because of this. But there are also guys who are probably going to find themselves either distracted or just too emotional to lock in and play, and in any other circumstance, that might be a spot where we would criticize, like, oh, he wasn't ready. In this moment, that you can't. And I don't think any of us would, because how does anybody deal with a situation 11 days removed from a teammate passing and in this fashion? It's going to be each individual's responsibility to determine what is right for them and how to respond to this.
It's moments like these where I think the Cowboys are incredibly lucky to have a head coach like Brian Schottenheimer, who seems to be this galvanizing force in the locker room, a guy that players want to play for and buy into, and really that command, right? And there's really no way to predict how tomorrow night may unfold, but I do think that they've got the right man to lead them onto the field, who's led them really through these last couple of weeks. And Andrew, also Dak Prescott,
yes,
unfortunately uniquely qualified to help lead his teammates in this situation as well.
Just seeing their interviews this week, I'm talking Dak, I'm talking head coach, I'm talking DeMarvion Overshown, who spoke, talking about his own issues coming back and trying to deal with the mixed emotions of first time back on the field in a year and everything positive that can come from that, and the exact opposite feeling with Nealon's loss. It's been remarkable seeing these people grapple with this in an eloquent, sophisticated manner, and it just reminds you, like, these are the most qualified people to deal with this in certain circumstances. And at least the people that have been put in front of the camera for us to kind of review and see, get a sense of what's going on in the locker room, they have handled this brilliantly. Mm-hmm. And Coach, I want to ask you, how much do you think having this bye week help them navigate this process? Like Micah Parsons, for instance, had a tribute last week before he took the field against the Eagles, and it was kind of a rushed thing. You could tell it was within the flow of things for him. This team has had time to at least process this in a way that a lot of Marshawn's family and the rest of them, or at least other people that knew him around the league, have not.
Well, I think getting away from it a little bit, because they did have the off week. And then I think you come back to practice, you look at one another, you kind of look at his locker, you have the memories, you have the meetings, you talk to one another. I mean, I think the best thing that you can do is get around your teammates and get around the guys that you eat with and you travel with and you do everything with. And so I think the best thing that could happen was for them to take a little time away and then get back on Wednesday and do what they do, which is play football for a living.
I think the emotional situation, it's playing with emotion, not playing emotional, which is sometimes a really fine line and hard for some players, maybe especially in a circumstance like this, but that may ultimately dictate some of the outcome for the Cowboys defensively. I think the Cowboys defense is going to have its best game of the season tomorrow night against the Raiders. Playing against the Raiders certainly helps that case as well.
Stay with us on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. No fence riding.
If you or someone you love is struggling with suicidal thoughts, there is help available right now. Just call or text 988. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is open 24/7, and someone will be there to listen.
The best music on earth. Welcome back to the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Time now for everyone except Michelle's favorite game, no fence riding. Concept is simple. I've got some statements for our panel. It's up to them to decide which side of the fence they're on. No riding the fence or they get called out. All right, number one, and I can't believe we need to say this, Nico Harrison is not a scapegoat. I've heard this an annoying amount this week. People making excuses as to why Nico was the only one fired after the Mavs' slow start, bemoaning the chance to see his vision realized on the court. If y'all want to critique the timing of the firing, whatever. We can go back and forth. But a scapegoat? By definition, a person unfairly blamed for the mistakes of others? That's not what happened here, right, Mike?
No. Whoever's saying this, stop. Stop. He's the person responsible. Period. No, he's not a scapegoat in any way, shape, or form. He's the guy that made the mistake. Bye.
Jonah.
Yeah, I'm kind of buying all of that. You know what's interesting? We live in an age of contrarianism. Everybody just loves to play devil's advocate with something. Or if something's so blatantly obvious, they just have to believe the opposite. You know what? Maybe when it's just shoved in your face and it's just that obvious, it's because it is.
Coach, I know you're not a basketball guy, but you've obviously seen a lot of the fallout. What do you think?
He ought to be down there on Lower Greenville right now getting it tattooed on the right cheek of his, you know what? He's the reason, for crying out loud. The worst trade in sports history.
That's the right way to frame it. Listen, a lot of the discourse around this has been crazy. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page here. This is not a scapegoat situation. All right, number 2, the NFL has gotten too aggressive foregoing field goals. I get it. 7 is greater than 3. It's simple math. But case in point, and I know we'll get into Jonah's case here in a second, tonight the Lions went for it 4 times on 4th down before the fourth quarter. Twice they were in field goal range and settled for points, and you have a 1-score game late. It happens too often that teams are undervaluing how big field goals can be when they add up later in the game. Coach, lead us off here.
I don't understand it, and I would say, Mike, why don't you're right there in the casino. Take that WFA credit card and go over there and throw it down and see if they'll let you put 1,000 on black. Charge it back to Sean, for crying out loud. See if they'll let you do it.
Mike, what do you think?
You're gambling with a credit card.
Was that to me? I'm not even sure.
Yes, you are.
Listen, I like aggressiveness, but yes, there's a time and a place for it, and it has to be within the flow of the game. It has to make sense. If you're going just for the sake of going, you are throwing away points that, to your point, Andrew, can add up throughout the course of the game and can impact your need to go for it and be risky later in the football game.
Jonah, your soapbox is yours.
The Dolphins not kicking that field goal toward the end of regulation today made me irrationally angry, and I didn't care about either of the two teams playing in it. Sometimes you take the points, sometimes you go for it, but really I think the answer is if that team went on to win, then they made the right decision.
That's riding the fence in a way I was not expecting from you.
Thank you.
What? Excuse
That's
me.
riding the fence. That is
ridiculous.
straddling the fence.
Come on, man.
My groin hurts.
Coach, Mike, thank you so much. Mike, enjoy the rest of your gambling venture. Stay with us in the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Jonah's final take coming up next.
I am a sucker for a good story, and in the NBA, there would be no better story in the last 20 years if Luka Doncic made his way back to the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not saying that will happen. I don't know if it will happen, but it's fun to dream. It's fun to think about. And when I asked him the other night in OKC if he'll ever play for the Mavs again, he didn't say no. And that's why Lakers Nation absolutely detests Jonah Javad. You should see my mentions.
Dude, I can only imagine. I just saw a glimpse of him. And granted, part of it is it would be fantastic. I think the sad reality is until that happens, we're stuck with the product that Nico put on the court.
But the fact he didn't say no, we can at least
you can
get carried away and think about it.
Yeah, that's nice for the next 4 years. While we're stockpiling draft picks for OKC.
Get comfy.
It is what it is. All right, Cowboys play tomorrow. We will see you guys next week for Cowboys-Eagles at that point. Getting hyped up for a divisional race.
This has been the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.